At the Solemnity of Saints Peter and Paul, Pope Francis invited the faithful to be like the two saints, free and humble. This morning, the Holy Father told the story of the two apostles and explained the Church looks to these two giants of faith and sees two apostles who set free the power of the gospel in our world only because first they themselves have been set free by their encounter with Christ. Joining us now from Rome is Father Robert Gahl, professor of ethics at the Pontifical University of the Holy Cross. Father, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell us something more about the importance of this feast, especially in Rome?
Oh, well, it's a wonderful feast day, and just where I'm standing is indicative of how great it is for the city of Rome, because the bones of St. Peter, the relics of St. Peter, are right here behind me beneath the basilica. And just to the left of the basilica is Nero's circus, well, what used to be Nero's circus, where St. Peter was crucified. So this feast day is so special for Romans, and really for the universal church, but especially in Rome, because we hold that Rome was blessed by the blood of the martyrs, particularly by Saints Peter and Paul, because St. Paul was beheaded here just outside of Rome, near the Basilica of St. Paul's outside the walls. So this Rome is blessed by their preaching and by their suffering, and therefore the faith here is rooted in the generosity of Saints Peter and Paul.
And during this solemnity, the ceremony of handing over the pallium takes place. What's the meaning of this, and who receives it?
Well, it's a beautiful ceremony that Pope Francis adjusted a little bit recently over the past few years, which just in time for COVID, which made it a little bit easier. So the pallium it's really a stole that sort of like a scarf that goes over one's shoulders, and it's made of wool that is taken from sheep. And these are special sheep that are taken care of by nuns, and they're blessed by the Pope when they're little sheep. And then the wool is also blessed by the Pope and is taken to the Basilica of St. Agnes at Piazza Navona, where St. Agnes was martyred. So there's all these blessings connected, but then these pallium are taken, or pallia are taken to St. Peter's, and they're put in a box up on top of the relics of St. Peter. So they really manifest the unity of the entire church around the Bishop of Rome, the Pope, because of that vicinity to the relics of St. Peter. And what Pope Francis adjusted was, it used to be that on this holiday, bishops, really archbishops, I should say, from around the world who had just been made archbishops would come to Rome to receive their pallium, which is really a celebration for the entire diocese. And what Pope Francis adjusted is that instead of the archbishops coming to Rome, the nuncio in each country brings the pallium in a special ceremony in the cathedral of the archdiocese, again thereby manifesting the unity of the universal church with the rock, with St. Peter, and with the Bishop of Rome. And this unity is celebrated in the cathedral with so many of the faithful from the local place. So in the United States, for instance, I'm pretty sure that today Archbishop Rosansky in St. Louis will be receiving his, but all the archbishops around the world who have been made archbishop over the past year through this celebration of the unity with the first among the apostles, with St. Peter.
Well, also before I let you go, today, you know, in the homily, Pope Francis said Peter and Paul were free because they were set free. What can we say about these two apostles? What can you tell us?
Well, this is another connection with the city of Rome, that the chains with which St. Peter was imprisoned by Herod in Jerusalem, those very chains are venerated here in a church that's called St. Peter in Chains. So when Pope Francis in his homily this morning spoke about the liberation, the freedom of Saints Peter and Paul, he was referring to the fact that God, through the angel, freed St. Peter from prison, with the whole church praying for him. And he also referred to, and he used this interesting expression. He said that St. Paul, well, Saul, before he was converted and before he became a Christian, of course, he was a zealous Jew, that he was following a faith that was a form of fundamentalism, is what Pope Francis said, referring to Saul, who then became St. Paul. That it was a kind of fundamentalism that when he discovered the true Messiah, Jesus Christ, he was liberated from that fundamentalism. And then he was also liberated from a kind of, by fundamentalism, he meant that he was using violence to persecute Christians. And now after that revelation of Jesus to him personally, he became apostle of Jesus Christ, and then ready to freely give his life so that he could enjoy the resurrection of Jesus, just like St. Peter.
Well, Father, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate your time and you speaking with us. Father Robert Gahl, professor of ethics at the Pontifical University of the Holy Cross. Thank you again.
Thank you, Tracy. God bless you.